Hello everyone, welcome back to the RC Uncensored Podcast. Today we're back at another episode, and today's topic is going to be about...
social interactions and how to interact in public.
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah.
So, would you consider yourself a extroverted person, Ranveer?
I would consider myself...
First of all, let's appreciate Ranveer for coming. Thank you, Ranveer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ranveer.
Right, like I was saying, I would consider myself sort of in the middle of introvert and extrovert. Not really an extrovert because I don't try to go around make new friends, but then I can also function alone. So I consider myself in the middle. How about you?
Let's go to Harry.
Yeah.
Right, so I consider myself pretty extroverted. I've gone around the world a couple of times and made a couple of friends in different places. Got friends all over, and yeah, that's just what I think about me.
I'd say I'm pretty introverted. Outside my friend group, I don't talk much.
Yeah, I'm definitely similar to Brahmjot as well. I'm kind of somewhat introverted as well. Outside my friend group, I don't really talk to other people. Well, but outside like friend groups and stuff, like let's say like a stranger, like someone new comes to our school, and then you meet them. Like, are you the type of person to go up to that person and start introducing him to stuff, like be friends with him and kind of like help him around?
Truthfully, not really, but like I was a new student here last year, and a lot of people did come out and reach out to me, which was pretty helpful because I did make some friends that way.
Mm-hmm.
I know he seems like the kind of guy who would.
Yeah, of course. So in the past, a lot of new students have come to the school, and I did end up becoming friends with them. And they do, some of them do make up my current friend group as of today. So yeah, I do think going out and introducing yourself to new people is a very important skill in life, and you should definitely take advantage of it.
Oh, that's great. What about you, Brahmjot?
I remember when he came into our school, and at like the first half of the year 11, I just didn't like him because just cause I don't know, he was another brown guy in our year. And then me and Keisha started talking to him. We realized that we have a lot of similar interests and similar sense of humor. And then we kind of just forced him to hang out with us a few times during lunch. And then he became one of us.
I think when I first joined this year, I remember I used to try to impress a lot of the teachers. In advisory, I would just open a book, stare at it, flip the page once in a while. I would never read it because it was Miss TK, and she would just hate it if we were on our phones. Mm-hmm. She had like some rule. What was it? The thing she said.
Disconnect to reconnect.
Disconnect to reconnect.
Yeah.
And then I would just open a book, and then she even took a picture of me and framed it in her classroom of me reading a book.
Seriously?
Yeah. So I think that's
nice.
why you probably didn't like me at first. It was just like some kiss-ass kid in the advisory.
No, I can see that.
So, moving on, very interesting story regarding social interactions. Yesterday, I did have a very rather funny one with a guy on the train yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, basically, after math tutor, me and my friend, we went separate ways, and I took the train back to my home. There was some guy on the train, after a tired day, long tiring day, you just want to sit down on the train and just like get on your phone or something like that, right?
Yeah, relax.
So that's what I was thinking to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I sat down, I got on my phone, started listening to music, and I was about to like doze off or something. This guy next to me, even before I sat down, he was like kind of manspreading, right? All over the chairs, all over like the seats. So then I think nothing of it. So I sit down and I kind of just like sit down, right? And he's trying to like nudge my foot away. He's trying to like nudge my like leg away. And I just like kind of stay there. He realizes he can't do it. So he looks at me like very slowly. He turns his head and goes like, "Can you move your leg?" Then I go like, "Why, what's up?" And then he says, "Yo, you're invading my personal space." And then he moves, he like touches my thigh, and I was like, "Yo, bro, like stop. Are you gay, bro?" And he's like, "No, but you're invading my personal space." And he like draws a like line with his finger on the seats, and the MTR, like the metal seats,
divider.
Like, the dividers. Mm-hmm. So then he's like, "Oh, yeah," and I was like, "Bro, are you gay, bro? You were like touching my thigh and stuff." And then he was like, "No, I'm not gay, but not like there's any problem with being gay. I'm straight. However, you are invading my personal space." So I was just like, this guy's kind of weird, and I've had a long day, so he just keeps going on in circles saying like, oh, you're invading my space, you're invading my space. And then I go like, because right next to us, right, 2 seats away, there's this woman being squished between me and this very like plus size large guy, right? And he's just like sitting there, he's like this, he's not involved at all, but he's just like this, and he's like taking up 3 spaces. I don't even know, he was pretty big. So then I point at that guy, and I look to this guy who's complaining. I go like, you think I can move? Like, look at the guy next to me, and next to that woman. And he's like, but you're invading my space. And then he look at the woman next to him. The woman's being squished by this like loser. So then I tell him, listen, if you don't like it, next time, how about you just take a bus or a taxi? Like, that's your own problem. You can't afford it, but that's what you gotta do. And then he's like, no, but you're like invading my space, and he starts trying to speak Cantonese to me, right? So, first of all, I don't know how to speak Cantonese at all. So when he speaks to me, I just like kind of look at him. I'm like, bro, I don't know. He's like I don't know what he's saying. So then at the end, I kind of just like start making fun of him. Kind of, I just you gotta watch. We got the same watch. So I was just trying to be like a bit annoying to him, right? And he's like, are you drunk? Are you drunk? I was like, bro, I don't drink. And he's like, you're drunk. And he's like, I smell alcohol in your breath. some weird stuff like that. And I go like, bro, are you? I said I'm not drunk. Then he goes like, that's not very civil, is it? And then he starts like going crazy again. And I'm like, how about, look, we're going in circles and circles. How about we both just shut up? You go on your phone, text your friends, whatever you're doing, and I'll just listen to my music. And then he goes like, okay. And I'm like, okay, brother. And then he just keeps yapping again. So I go, bro, just shut up. And he goes, and he points back at me and says, shut up. Like, he wants to get that last shut up on me. Like, it's kind of freaky. So then, okay, I was like, whatever, man. I go on my phone again. He's like, actually, can you, like, move your leg a bit? I was like, bro, we already talked about this. And then he's just like, we just keep going in circles and circles and circles. But story from this is, what I want to talk about is how you can, like, how not to interact in public. Because this guy, and maybe me, is a prime example of how not to interact in public. Like, sure, you could argue I was being pretty rude, but this guy, on the other hand, you gotta realize around you that you don't own everything around you. This is like, everyone's using it. So in a public space, you gotta be considerate of others and yourself. So when you're seeing on the MTR, the MTR, usually very squishy. We all know like the preconception of Hong Kong. There's a lot of conflicts that go on, like, people start swinging at each other on the MTR. You gotta acknowledge that is a place for like conflict, and that is a place for like, it's a very squished place. So you just gotta be careful, and you just gotta like try not to like piss off the wrong people. So yeah.
Well, how do you think you could have de-escalated the conflict?
Well, I think how I did it yesterday, it was pretty reasonable of a way, other than calling him, because I just wanted to kind of voice out that he was kind of, and I truly do believe that he was.
Right.
So other than that, I feel like another way you could take in that sort of conflict or situation is you could just ignore this guy. Because when I started ignoring this guy, he just kept on yapping. So if he realizes he's talking to like a brick wall, nothing's going to happen. He's just going to stop eventually. And that's what did happen at the end. He stopped, he got off his spot, he got off on his station, and then that was that. So yeah.
Well, why didn't you try moving away instead or finding another seat?
Well, the train that day was pretty packed, and I was really tired. As I said, just finished tutoring. It was like 7 p.m. Just wanted to go home, get some rest, and I just wanted to sit down, listen to some music, and chill out. Maybe even sleep a bit for the time I was on the train.
Makes sense. Yeah.
You guys have any like similar interactions to people in the public, or any other interesting interactions you can share?
Public? I mean, not really.
Yeah, me neither. I don't really try to go out of my way to get my way in some social situation like that, because even like as a person in school, like, it's kind of difficult to de-escalate a situation like that when it's someone who's not a student. So I just try to stay out of their way. Yeah, and also avoid any like prejudice, but that doesn't really come around in Hong Kong that much.
I think adding on to like just walking away from the situation, I had if you've been on the Tung Chung line between like 3 to 4 p.m. on school days, you'll see all the Delia kids, mostly brown kids, at the back of the train, and they're like sitting on the floors. They have like each holding like meals, just openly eating, and it was the middle of COVID and everything. So all the adults and elderly people were getting annoyed by them and telling them to stop. I walked into the train, and there's this thing that I don't know if it's the same with everyone, but there's this thing that like I'm brown and they're brown, so it's like a mutual connection instantly as soon as you see them. So I saw them and I didn't want to associate with that or anything, so I just started walking the other way, and then one of them tried to call me out, and we didn't fight or anything, but we had a little like argument, debate kind of thing, and luckily it didn't escalate. But I think handling with especially kids, teenagers our age, a lot of them have big egos and think they're they can do whatever they want. So try and stay away from fights.
Yeah, well, why did he go up to you and try to like escalate it?
Because he thought that I was like the way that I walked away from him. He thought that I was being disrespectful. Like,
oh, really?
I was like, he thought that I was being like, I'm better than you guys. I don't want to be near you guys. So like, stay there. I'll go this way.
Oh, seriously? Yeah. Wow. I mean, that is just.
Oh no, yeah. So basically, at this time of us growing up, there's a lot of like changes that happen inside of us, and yeah, a lot of these hormonal changes do make us very emotionally unbalanced, and this does lead to conflicts like those. So we gotta, like, as teenagers, as young adults, we gotta recognize that these conflicts we're very susceptible to these conflicts.
I mean, like, when would you stand like your ground? You know, like in a conflict, like when do you like realize when to like just walk away or to stand your ground?
I do feel like that in every conflict you should stand your ground and you shouldn't just back away, because that just shows that it's a level of like confidence that you have within yourself, and it's a thing that I believe needs to be taught to a lot of today's younger generation, but not in the sense of ego, but in the sense of that if there's someone that's like trying to actively pick on you or just kind of get their way with you, you gotta stand up to them. You gotta tell them this is wrong. You gotta like make sure you put your boundaries up.
Yeah, makes sense. On to the next topic. Harry, the other day you actually mentioned to me a pretty funny story. Well, not a funny story, but a really interesting story about you going to Japan and having your social interactions there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, would you like to expand on that?
Well, so yeah, the next topic we could kind of talk about is just being wary around who you like kind of trust in a social setting. So that's what I mainly learned from this experience. Basically, if you guys are familiar, there's this thing called MUN where people go debate and they have fun. So I just thought, hey, maybe I can have some fun in Japan, because there was one there and it's English setting. I really like Japan, the culture, the setting, everything. So
sorry, just for the MUN only, right?
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Nothing else.
Yeah, nothing
Just
else.
okay.
Nothing else.
Okay, continue.
So basically, when I went there, I made a couple of new friends, but then I got really close to one of these guys, and then we both did Muay Thai. So he was planning to go to train in Thailand, and I was also planning to go train, but I didn't know where at that time. So throughout the 3 days, we kind of talked about it, and he invited me. He was like, "Yo, you want to go to Thailand with me?" Like stuff like that. So I was like, "Sure, why not?" Like I need to train too. Probably could have gotten kidnapped, but we're not going to talk about that. So come like 15, maybe 20 days later, we go to Thailand for a week. My purpose there is purely to train, purely to like learn from what Thailand has to offer for Muay Thai, because I feel like it's a very valuable experience to like go to like somewhere like Thailand with such a deep culture of martial arts to learn from the setting. So that was all I had in mind, nothing else. So going there, I didn't really expect to have much fun. So he had one of his uncles there. We lived in his house, and basically every day we went to train for the first 2 days we went to train pretty smooth. We'd come back, relax, and then there was 2 sessions every day, so we'd go. And then the third day around, he got kind of lazy, so he decided to just like stay at home all day. I was kind of like disappointed. I was like, come on, bro, we gotta go, we gotta get up. But he was like, oh no, I'm tired. And then another context I have to like kind of put in the story is that he's a smoker, right? So he gets tired really easily, so I could kind of see where it was coming from. But for this trip, he agreed to not smoke. So after that day, I come back from training. He's just relaxing, and then you can kind of smell smoke in the room that we're in. So I'm like, bro, you've been smoking, haven't you? He's like, no. I was, come on, you gotta quit this. This stuff is addicting. Like, and then what's going on is I came here with him because I thought he was gonna be a good training partner. We were gonna go some like Rocky Apollo Creed like synergy going on right here, right?
Yeah.
But then that wasn't the case. After the third day, he stayed home. Like, he skipped like 2 sessions every day. He'd skip like one of them mostly, and he'd say, "Oh, I'm sick, I'm whatever." And it was just not really like what I expected of a training partner. Another thing was on the 4th day after training, some of the people at Muay Thai, they invited us out to go like around to this place where they sold a lot of boxing gloves. But as you guys know, in Thailand, weed is like pretty much legal there. So this guy, he's always kind of wanted to smoke weed, but he's done like lighter like forms of weed in Japan since it's like not legal. Weed's not fully legal in Japan. I wasn't gonna try that stuff because I'm not into that stuff. Gotta devote my life to God. And basically, he started smoking weed. He got high, and he was like, "Oh," when we went home, he's like, "Oh, help me get the takeout." He bought like tons of like KFC, Taco Bell, pizza. He was just eating and stuff. He was lazy as hell, eating all these like junk food, fried food, processed foods. Like, you're not gonna like, you're here to like train and be disciplined, but he's out here munching on all these like junk foods. So he makes me get all of them because he's like high on weed. I'm like, whatever. But eventually I get kind of sick of this, and then I just like tell him, I just stop talking to him. So at the end, like, basically what I want to say is that you got to be very careful around who you surround yourself with and who you trust, because 3 days of getting to know someone, that isn't it. Like, you got to know someone for more before you like set onto a journey like to train in Thailand. For all I could have known, I could have gotten kidnapped. I could have gotten like shipped to like Cambodia or something and got my limbs chopped off. But most importantly, like, I now know that this guy, he isn't like a good training partner. I should have had that in my head, like, is this guy good or not, before I actually went to Thailand. So yeah, that's just something I want to bring to the table, and I want to like bring this lesson to y'all.
I mean, honestly, hearing the story, it was really dangerous for you to just go to someone else's house in Thailand where you have no other connections there.
Yeah, wait,
it was a
your
really
parents
risky
just
move.
let you go there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Damn.
with like some random guy.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, that was really risky as well. I mean, like, people as well, like, you know, their social side and, you know, their other side when they're just back at home by themselves. Like, they're two completely different. Like, they're completely different, so.
For all I could have known, he could have been. I'm just putting that out.
Yeah, you could have.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I enjoyed that.
Could have been.
I know you would have.
Yeah, on the topic of the, like, martial arts and stuff. Like, see, I'm just gonna say this. I'm putting this out there. This was purely for gas, right? I just started doing like jiu-jitsu for like gas action long term. These guys just ripped the hell out of me for no reason. Like, I just became gay. Like, yo, he's gonna jiu-jitsu suck us. You guys watch out. That was that. There was this one guy there. He was kind of older than most of the other people there. We were obviously, I went with another dude from our school. We were the youngest people there. Everyone else was like maybe 20 to 25. This dude was like 40 or something, right? And I remember we had like the session, and then at the end they'd ask us to like shuffle around partners because you got me finding the same guy every time, right? And then I got that guy, and he seemed pretty cool. He maybe been doing it for like half a year or something by then. Yeah, no, this guy was very weird, man. There was this one time, the guy said the name of the move, the sensei, I don't know what you call it, right? The instructor. He said the name of the move in Japanese, and he was like, yeah, it's summon, Drew, summon. And he's like, Drew, I know that word. It's like, I don't know. He clearly has some mental problems, right? And then he'd always be like downstairs smoking before the classes and shit. And I was like, what? It's pretty crazy. One time, I walk into the stalls, right, to get changed to start going home. This guy had like a job or something after because he was putting a suit on. His hanging out there, dude. Why are allowed in these places, man. Like,
I mean, it is a changing room.
no, not inside. Like, I didn't walk in with him into the changing stall. That's not how I am. I walked into the washroom. There's toilets on the side, changing rooms in there where you're supposed to do the changing, and then the naked guy there with the. There's the. It's just. There should be like some kind of standard in like what you can do in some places and whatnot, like smoking and like being naked,
Changing out
obviously.
in the
Yeah,
middle.
changing out in the middle. Like I swear, it's always like the old people. Like you just walk into like a changing room and there's like no towel around.
You couldn't even ask the sensei to like change partners or something. Like you didn't want to be with the guy.
I was supposed to be partners with him before I knew any of this. It was like maybe first or second class. So,
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
yeah, that's my story. That's what I want to say.
Well, I think amazing stories from both sides. Really appreciate it. I think this is it for the podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.
Right. Thank you
Bye
for having me.
Thanks for tuning in.
bye.